Hi, welcome again to another episode of Charlene's Vision. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate that you're watching. Today on the show, I have Dale Harris, good friend of mine as well. So Dale, thanks for being on the show, first of all.
Oh, no problem.
And he's a contractor, by the way. So Dale, just wanted to tell me a little bit about yourself. Always want to know the background of, who I'm interviewing and how did everything get started, because I think that's a very good point when someone, you know a little bit of history about them. So just tell me a little bit about yourself.
As far as I do roofing, siding, kitchens, bathrooms, decks.
So tell me a little bit about like where you grew up. I would like to know something personal, like, yeah.
Right here in Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah. Bethel.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up.
Okay. Now tell me about your family size. Did you have a big family, a small family?
2 sisters. That's it.
2 sisters.
Yeah.
Okay. So what actually inspired you to actually do contracting?
I was born, I believe, mechanically inclined. Got right into, at a young age, taking apart engines and go-karts and mini bike engines and things like that. Yeah.
So just mini biking.
Yeah.
So what age did you start? Can you tell me like the first time to say, okay, like the first time I built a bike or the first thing that you built? And
I took apart my father's rototiller engine.
Now what age were you when you did that?
I was 8 years old.
8?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You can't even probably walk when you're 8.
No, I really did. It was a Briggs & Stratton. I took the engine apart and put it on my go-kart.
And did your father kill you after that?
Oh, he was very pissed.
Okay.
My grandfather thought it was great. Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, is that something that you think it was, like your grandfather, anyone else was a
My grandfather was a machinist, so he was mechanically inclined too. So that's probably where I inherited it or whatever.
Oh.
But yeah.
So, okay, so just tell us the story about when you were 8 and you actually, just tell me the whole story, how it happened.
Oh, God. I believe my father was at work and he came home and he seen the engine off and he wasn't happy about it. But that was many go-karts and mini bikes and stuff.
Right.
By the time I was, like 10 or 12, I had a whole mess of different mini bikes and go-karts by that time. It was like 4 years of, and then I worked in a hydraulic shop.
Okay, so how did that all happen? How did you end up there?
There was a local guy and he knew, like I was really into the mechanically part, and he owned Terry's Hydraulics, and I worked there from when I was 12 until I was 16.
Wow, I don't even think you can work when you're 12, so I don't know how did that happen. We won't say that too loud.
He paid me really, really, really good.
Okay, so what happened? You just went in there one day and you was like, I want to work.
I believe they did it to mentor me, maybe, and keep me out of trouble, probably. Yeah.
So did somebody know this guy and introduce you to?
He was just a local guy in town with his hydraulic business, and I learned a real lot.
Okay, so what was what did you do? Is this like your only career path that you just?
Oh no, that was just when I was. But I figured I'd be a car mechanic back then.
Oh, okay.
So
that's different.
Then from like when I was 16 until I was 18, I was totally into cars, and I worked in a automotive shop, and I figured that was the route I was on to go.
Right. So what did you do? You like just work on cars? Somebody would bring in
race car, big things,
okay.
Jet engines, jet boats, Harley Davidsons, stuff that fast and powerful. That was
so what
still into that, but yeah.
Yeah. So what did you actually do? Did you just somebody would just come in and you would repair it, or you would just?
By then I was just building my own stuff.
Oh, building your own stuff.
And building hot rods and cars and big time. I had a whole mess of different cars.
Okay. And how long you been doing that for?
Oh, so I still do my work on my own cars.
You do?
I'm in construction now. I mean, I'd rather it's more fun.
Right.
Construction.
So what did inspire you to be transition from working on cars to construction?
I got into construction just by accident, really, in a sense, but just by chance, not by accident, by chance.
Okay, so what happened? Like you just was like,
A guy on my street was looking for a helper, and that's how I got in, and I loved it. It was just a blast. Every day it was fun. I still enjoy it.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So describe to me like how do you prepare your day? Because you still work for this guy?
Oh, no.
So you just basically stopped and start doing it yourself?
I worked for all different companies over the years before I went on my own. Yeah.
Okay.
Got to learn how to carry it before you cut it.
Right.
And learn to, start on the bottom and work your way up.
Okay.
Learn.
So what was like this is the thing I'm looking at. See, most people usually have a job first, because you have to pay your bills.
Yeah.
So the way that you describing this to me is that you just working for this guy and then you was doing a handyman. You was like a handyman, right?
Yeah, in the beginning, you're a laborer and you're learning.
You're learning.
But it was fun. And there was always money, it was good money in it involved. And I moved right up through the ranks. Like, I caught on real quick.
You caught on real quick. Okay, so then you decide just to leave him and say, you know what, I'm ready to go on my own. How did that transition happen?
That was actually many years, but I went on my own about 16 years ago.
Okay, so you just decided to say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to be going on my own.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, what was your daily preparation at that time? Did you have clients? How did all of that take place?
Oh, yeah. It went like viral, I guess you could say. It went like overnight, but yeah, it was just, it started, I was like, I took a chance and it worked out. Yeah.
Okay, so what did you actually do? Like, what was your, okay, so if somebody would call you, like, what type of work were you performing?
In the beginning was framing, a lot of framing houses.
Framing, okay, let's talk about framing a little bit. Describe framing to me. What does framing mean?
The lumber of framing a building.
Okay.
Mostly residential, it was all.
Residential.
Couple shows like strip malls and shopping centers like that, but mostly residential homes. Yeah.
Okay, so when you do framing, what does that mean? I mean, like, I don't know what framing is. Like, what you get 2x2, you frame it and...
Like, if you look underneath the deck, all the lumber, how it's framed. It's all built.
On the deck?
Yeah, decks and roofs and everything.
Okay.
And additions and...
Now,
I did a real lot of framing. And the same with roofing and...
Roofing?
Everything, kitchens and bathrooms, years worth. I mean, over the years and years worth.
Okay.
For several years, I sheetrocked. That was it. Straight sheetrocked every single day. I framed probably for 9 years.
Wow.
Roofed probably for that too. Just real lot of roofs.
Okay, so how did you actually start your day when you do the framing? Is it something that you just automatically do, or do you have to go back and do some type of research or some resources? Like, would you go back to your old boss and be like, hey, I don't know how to do this, or how does it work? Like, sometimes if you don't know anything, or you just basically just say, I know how to do it. And,
Right.
And
Most
is
of the
this
stuff,
only one type of framing, is it, or different types of framings?
Myself, it's lumber, wood framing.
Oh, wood framing.
Yeah, lumber, yeah.
Okay, so you would
But
just...
I did get involved with steel framing too.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
I prefer wood.
So is wood framing and steel framing any other type of framing?
That's pretty much what the standard in the framing.
That
wood
would
and steel.
what
I mean,
would you-
there's concrete and stuff, but that's all commercial.
That's all commercial.
Right, and I'm not I'm residential now.
So you rather do residential than commercial?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. And the reason is?
Just make somebody happy. Just have their dreams come true.
Okay.
Really.
So when you do
It is.
residential, you don't, I mean, when you do residential, you can have
Yeah.
some of the dreams come true. But when you do commercial, it's different. Like, what would be
Right.
the difference for, if somebody asked for you to do a residential job or a commercial job, would you take the job or
Probably not now.
no?
No, not so much. I'm more in the residential now.
You like residential?
Yeah.
Okay. So so when you mentioned the framing, you said there could be three different types, but you really do the
Wood framing.
wood framing
Yeah.
versus. Can you tell me like a little bit of the difference between the wood and the steel framing?
Well, it's all the steel framing is commercial. It's all for
Oh yeah,
commercial building.
commercial.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all like shopping centers and things like that. Because they use steel studs for fire code and stuff like that. Instead of wood,
Wood.
but
So what type of size of projects that you actually do?
now
Yeah.
mostly like decks and bathroom remodeling, additions.
Additions?
Yeah, dormers, things
So
like that,
if you-
skylights, things, renovations and remodeling, stuff like that.
Nice.
Attic, finished basements, things like that.
Wow. So you saying that if somebody has a house and if they want to do an addition on a house, you'll be able to
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt.
Oh, okay. So is there any type of like of networking you do or?
Sure, yeah. Between everybody, friends, building inspectors and stuff like that, quite, the show,
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
good. Now, how do you like prioritize your tasks like for the day? Like just say 5 people came at you and it's like, oh, Dale, I would like this done. And, you get the calls all the same day. Like, how would you prioritize that?
It all depends. Usually, I just pick through it and see like certain things got to be ordered, and some things are small and easy. You could just do it like a fill-in, just small job.
Right.
Some things are bigger where the material has to be ordered, and it takes a while before lately, for material and orders
Okay.
and they show up.
So, like if somebody, like you said, materials needs to show up and stuff. So, like you saying you would do like the small, if somebody needs something done that could be done within like 2 days, you'll do that first. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, if say somebody's sink was broken or something small, or needed something repaired.
Okay.
Yeah, you could just like blow that out, squeeze it in between you doing something bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds pretty decent. That sounds good. That's like a good way to prioritize your job. Now, what about like if you definitely come out, somebody called to tell you to take a look, because I know you did several work at my house as well. Now, how do you estimate, like, okay, like when you came to my house, I asked for you to like do my deck. Like, how did you actually come up with the figures of how much it's gonna cost and stuff like that?
I figure out all the lumber, all the material, everything. Then I figure out how long it'll take me, and then I come up with a price. I figure out, knowing, because I've done it so often. I'd say like it's going to take a week, so I figure what I need for a week to live in Connecticut, and whatever the materials are, and that's how the price comes out.
Oh, okay, so you
So,
would definitely
like,
do the
yeah.
material, right? Like you'll go, I guess you'll go to one of the stores, you'll go to like one of the stores and just
Yeah.
estimate how much it costs and how
Yeah.
many you're gonna need.
Figure it all out. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so what about like actually if that's an outside job. Now I know sometimes you always mention the weather definitely has, when it's raining, what happens then? Like, oh, you can't do it that day, correct?
Yeah, well, somewhat. If it's just downpour all day, yeah, you got to. But I'll work in the. If it's a little drizzly, it's no big deal. Work in the rain, or snowy, or yeah, it's part of it.
Okay. So you would just like go to another job? Because I know sometimes you do indoor work as well as outdoor, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Always, yeah.
So how does it work now? And that versus, I know you did it way back when. How does that versus now?
It's actually,
Because-
it's like part of it. It's part of the, it's like a fisherman. It's part of the challenge. Working, the weather is part of it, the job, really.
Okay, because I know you do that, and you actually do some other things as well. So you say like, what happens if it rains? Because where do you actually work at? Do you work in just Connecticut, or do you
Yep.
travel?
No, just Connecticut.
Just Connecticut. Would you travel?
I've been everywhere, but not now.
Where
no.
have you been?
Everywhere. 39 states, everywhere.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Because I know one time you went to California to help out someone. So like,
Yeah.
when you go to other places, you actually can get jobs, or you will do jobs other places.
I used to. Now I'm sticking around here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I like Connecticut.
And what made you change to like just other places? And what would you do other places? Because I know sometimes you say you went to New York, you did some stuff there. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, the commute and all that. It's just oh my God. Going to New York City. I used to work in New York City. The commute down and oh my God, dealing with the traffic, being there all day.
Right.
Then the drive. Oh, it was. You're whooped. You're tired. You know what I mean? Yeah. End of the day, working in long travel. Plus, like especially trucks and stuff. The fuel. It just gets too expensive. The people usually just hire somebody closer because.
Right, exactly, because you're going to have them pay for you to travel
the
down
truck,
there,
the
which
wear
makes
and tear
sense.
and fuel and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So you would put that all in your budget.
So it's a lot easier. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper and smarter to stay closer anyhow.
And plus, I think that'd be great because you can to the customer, you can charge them less.
Right.
You know, because you'd be like, they're gonna be like, oh my goodness, it costs this much better. But listen, because of the travel time.
Yeah.
Now, you said you would do, or what about like up in Norwich area versus all the way down to Stamford? Like, would you actually do the entire Connecticut or just a region
No,
area?
not unless it's if it's a job where I'm definitely know I'm going to go there. And you know what I mean? It's set in stone. Everything ironed out where I could zoom down, come back. Yeah, I would. But if I'm going down there just kicking the tires and looking around type of job, no, it's you know what I mean? It's too much time wasted.
So what do you mean? Like if you go down there, you want to stay the whole entire day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. And
Like say from New Britain to Danbury. If I'm going down to Danbury, I definitely want to work all day and come back. I mean, but I try to stay within 25 miles from my house. That's about the average.
Okay.
Which is that's a pretty good sized chunk of Connecticut. You figure.
Okay, and you work alone, or do you have a crew?
Now, pretty much most of the stuff I do myself.
You do
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Now that's one thing that's amazed me. Like, how can you do everything yourself? You know, usually you have someone there to help out. I just seem like sometimes it's like kind of difficult for you to do everything
Yeah.
by yourself.
It's just, I just love it. I don't know. I enjoy it. I'd rather. Most things I've over the years you learn to do it yourself anyhow because if people don't show up and things, so then I just got to the point now I'd rather do things by myself anyhow because you know it comes out right. You know it's the way it's supposed to be.
Okay. So like, what is your philosophy on like your work ethics? What would you say?
I think it's just joy. It'd be like, my ethic is I just love doing it.
Okay.
I enjoy it.
Okay, that sounds good. You just love doing it. You always did, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, what would make your career more easier?
What makes my career easier?
Yeah, like, what would you say that would make it more easier for you?
It's always a juggle, but I've thought of that years ago, but really, it's just what it is. I don't know. It's a challenge. I enjoy it. I mean, if I would say that the most would make my career the easiest if I had endless flow of work, never a slowdown. Then yeah.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't matter how hard the job is. Like sometimes you go to someone's job and you be like, what the heck is this? Like, or so just a flow of work regardless.
Oh, yeah.
If it's, because sometimes people like easy work versus hard work, something where they can just go in and do something. It's like, okay, but sometimes, how sometimes you run into another additional problem because it's not like you come when you think it's one thing and then next thing you know, something else happens. Like,
Right.
for instance, I want to give you a story. Some guy came in and did my floor. And when he was drilling, just to put the floor down, next thing you know, he was drilling so hard, all the lights shut off in the house. So he must hit some type of, electric. So that was like, oh my goodness. So that caused another problem because, I needed an electrician to come in. So stuff like that.
Oh yeah. It could happen.
Yeah. Okay, anything that happened to you like that?
Oh, I'm sure over the years, yeah. You just suck it up and take it as it comes and fix it and whatever, dust it off and move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to just tell the people that's listening today that, about you and your goals, and like if they wanted to be in a contractor, give them some advice?
You gotta love it. You gotta, just a passion. It'd be like artwork or cooking, or certain people just love it. You gotta have, it's to me, it's easy, it's simple, because I enjoy it. It's like waking up for Christmas every day. It's
Okay.
just fun. It's just.
Well, we're actually just out of time now, and I want to say thank you so much for watching Charlene and Dale, the contractor. I hope you learned some things today, and we're going to come back with part 2 of Dale. Thank you again.